This is WKKW. The time is 9:05. Coming up next, Love Pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Love Pandemic.
It's a viral outbreak. Oh yeah, call the hotline on Love Pandemic.
Probably feeling alone, self-isolated, looking for some love in all the wrong places. You give us a call, we'll steer you in the right direction.
That's what we're here to do, to talk to you and help you solve your problem during this unprecedented time that we're all in together.
We're all in it together.
Yeah. It's a love pandemic. Welcome everybody to the show. I am your host, of course, the great Liam Von Friedman, and with me in studio is 6 feet apart, Mr. Karl. Oh, Karl Voss, ladies and gentlemen.
Liam, so good to see you. I saw you mowing your lawn the other day, and I just wanted to go over there with a towel and just dab the sweat off of your back. This social distancing is really killing me. Tell you what.
When you tell me stories like that, it kills me too. You know, how are things with you and the missus during these times?
They are fiery like a bunch of coals that I threw into the forest after a bonfire. It's the beginning of something special. I really think. Not that we haven't had something special, but it's getting to be a bigger, more fiery something special. I think with me and Sheila, and yeah, we have a lot of time on our hands. I'll tell you what.
Well, I'll tell you what. I reached out to my love. We haven't seen or heard from each other in some time, and certainly haven't interfaced. But I sent her a message yesterday that if thoughts, it was Mother's Day. If thoughts could get you pregnant, then, well, I'd have to wish you a happy Mother's Day today.
Wow.
And then she replied, "Please God, lose my number. This is not a joke." She's such a little vixen.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, once you get their number, Liam, it's too late because.
And then I tried to text her later. I don't think anything. I think maybe the phone servers were down. I'm not really exactly sure what happened. The message seemed to bounce back or something. I'm sure it'll get through cyberspace. I'm not really sure how.
They're upgrading to 5G, and
right.
It's just a matter of time.
That's exactly right.
It's just a matter of time before you can get her pregnant with thoughts alone.
Well, I've been working on it pretty hard. I know you know.
Well, don't work too hard, but children are a handful, I tell you what.
You would.
A couple extra, couple loose ones running around.
I know. Yeah. I know that's where half your paycheck goes.
Yeah.
Well, folks, it's our absolute pleasure to have a wonderful guest on the show tonight. We are joined all the way from Chicago. Sounds like she's all ready to go after that squeaking there. We have Miss Mona Jacobs joining the show. She is a pre-therapist. This is a very new and cutting edge position that she's here to talk about, and we're here to answer your questions a little bit later in the show because we are live. But Mona, are you patched in? Does Karl have you in here with us in the studio?
He sure does, and I just want to say thank you so much, Liam and Karl, for having me on the show.
Well, it's truly our pleasure. I mean, we're really doing some
No, it's my
work.
pleasure, and almost, I have to say, I feel a little bit guilty. I feel like I just tuned into a very smoldering conversation between two hunky dudes.
Well,
you did.
Yeah, it's like a brick oven in here. Honestly.
Do I need to call back?
You need to call the fire department.
That's right. Well,
Yeah, I mean, somebody's on fire. I certainly can tell.
well, your work is just tremendous, and we're so excited to be able to share it. It's been such an incredible an incredible gift to the community. A pre-therapist. This is something that's been needing to happen for quite some time, and I feel like you've really stepped in and defined a new niche. Can you tell us a little bit about it and your story?
Absolutely. I would be happy to. And also, before I begin, I just want to let everybody know that I have a nice 50-page ebook on my website, monajacobs.com. And you can get that, and it explains exactly what pre therapy is. But in a nutshell, I help people understand whether or not they need therapy. And then, if we decide that they do need therapy, I help them match up with a therapist that is specifically educated on their needs. So, whether that's in the love department, in the professional department, if they have some kind of genetic disease that they need therapy about, or a mental illness that, requires some specialization, I find them a therapist that will be absolutely in tune with their needs and desires.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, absolutely brilliant. It's something that I can't believe that didn't exist before. You're a true trailblazer.
Well, thank you. I mean, I like to think so, obviously, but it's been a long and winding road. I went to the University of Phoenix, and I had to actually create my own major because it didn't exist
Is that the one
before I
online? University
applied.
of Phoenix online? Is that the one?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Mhm,
Way ahead of
mhm,
their
mhm.
time as an online institution. Way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, so much of the therapy that I do exists online. I find all kinds of people, and people can find me at facebook.com/pre-therapist Mona Jacobs anytime they have any kind of therapy needs. But I will say this, I specialize in love and relationships because let's face it, we all just want to be loved. And that's why I'm so excited to be on this show with you, Liam, and Karl, to be talking about love and dating. I mean, is there anything more important in life?
No. No.
Love is
there's
the
not.
answer. It's all you need. And all the cliches, they actually turn out all to be true, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to spread love. And I mean, so we're so happy to have you on the show. It's so neat that what you do. So you don't actually provide any therapy though. You just direct people to. So if someone came to you and they said that they had a problem and that they were curious about, the way they've been feeling, and it's interesting and strange, and they're not really sure if they should talk to someone about it, then they come to you and you help them decide if they should talk to someone about it. Is that true?
So, partially true. With the rising costs of healthcare, I saw a hole in the market where I realized all of these people, who are pondering whether or not they need therapy, they need somebody to talk to understand this whole system. And so what I have done, and you can read the reviews in my ebook when you download it. Again, that's monajacobs.com. And there's a free ebook little pop-up that will come up, and just shoot me your email address, and I'll shoot you the ebook. But essentially, I do some therapy. So a lot of the work that I do, we end up not needing to match my clients with a therapist because we are able to work through so many of their issues, either in person, on Skype or Zoom, or over the phone. And that therapy session, whether it's one or two, or the pre-therapy session, one, two, three times, we're able to do a lot of the work and unknot a lot of the things that are really ailing these clients. So yeah,
Okay.
you were mostly right, but there's some
So
more
you
nuance to that.
right. So you do therapy.
I do
Wow.
do therapy.
Okay. So it's like I call you and I unload and we start to work through things, and hopefully we can work
Mm.
it out in one, or and with just one-on-one. And but if I need more therapy, or if I need to talk to someone else, then you redirect me to someone who is better able to fit my needs. Is that correct? Now do I have it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I say, I'm Mona Jacobs, and this is out of my league, but I will help you find your next therapist.
Wow.
That's so great. That's just
How
such
generous.
the perfect job. It's like,
Well, I just want to be helping people like you guys.
well, it sounds like you help a lot more people than we help. I mean,
Oh, I don't know about that.
we
Although I do have a lot of reviews on Google.
we are like the pre-therapist.
Right.
People call us in and we're like, maybe you might want to see a therapist, but maybe first Mona Jacobs, right?
Yeah, I mean, should I get some kind of copyright on that pre-therapist name?
Maybe. I mean, I'm certainly not a lawyer. I'm not in marketing,
No, you're not.
but I have watched a lot of Shark Tank.
You sure have. That's his favorite show,
Haven't
Shark
we
Tank.
all? I love Shark Tank. That Mark Cuban is so impressive.
He is a little vixen, isn't he? He is so nice and studly. He is my ideal of a man in a suit from Texas, multi-billionaire, who also invests in company. I could go on. Sheila and I love that show.
Yeah.
And I love that he can go from one suit to another suit, as in the basketball suit, since he owns the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The amount of suits he changes is quite impressive. And
Oh, totally.
yeah. Well, amazing that tell us a little bit about your book. That's absolutely free when people go to your website, monajacobs.com.
It is, and I do have several e-courses that will be coming out. And one of them, actually, funnily enough, is called Love During a Pandemic. And it's about finding your mate during a time where, there's social distancing. So we go over all kinds of different obstacles to finding love and finding a mate during a time where, let's face it, none of us are getting a whole lot of face-to-face time, but that doesn't need to stop us from finding love. So that's one of the things. But the ebook, it's mostly a deep dive into getting honest with yourself about whether or not you need pre-therapy. So I ask a lot of questions that, could be a little bit uncomfortable, but questions that are required if you are on the road to love or you want to be on the road to love.
Wow.
And then I go into some, quick tips. I think there are about 6 different tips on just readying yourself and your body to receive love. And then also in the book, again, are a bunch of positive reviews from all of my clients.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, just like that Jeff Goldblum, who's pretty dreamy, said in that one movie that time on Jurassic Park, love will find a way. And I think that's what you've discovered. Mona,
Yes.
you really have.
Yes. Well, thank you. And I absolutely love Jeff Goldblum. I mean, is there anything sexier than a man with glasses?
I just put my glasses on right now.
Oh, you did? Oh,
And
Liam.
the answer is
Okay.
definitively no.
Smarty
There's
pants behind the mic.
nothing sexier than that at this moment.
Well, I don't like to wear them too often. I don't want to be boastful, but
You don't want to see too clearly, huh?
That's right. I like a challenge.
No.
It sounds like we may need a pre-therapy session, Liam.
Oh, well, I would love to do one, and then I'll tell all our listeners how it went and give you a raving review like many of the ones that you've gotten on Google.
Oh, well, thank you. I would so appreciate that.
So is pre-therapy kind of like the foreplay of therapy? Would you say? Is that
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It absolutely is. I didn't know how sexual we could get on this show, but it's definitely like the foreplay of therapy.
Well, yeah. Well, this is it is on the internet, so we can do or say almost anything that.
Oh,
that we
good.
want.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we want
then
to watch
I'm
out
an
for these
open.
censors.
I'm an open book. I mean, let's dive deep. Let's do this.
We definitely will. And folks, just so you know, if you're at home, if you're in your car, be sure to be very careful listening to the show. It is dangerous, dangerous to listen to while you're driving. But if you're out there and you would like to call in and ask Mona a question or two, the lines are now open. We are live here at 575-322-8733 to talk to Mona Jacobs, pre-therapist. She can talk to you a little bit about where you're at if you'd like, and maybe even let you know if you need therapy. That's a wonderful gift. Some things people might not need therapy for. Is that true, Mona? Do you find that happens from time to time?
It happens from time to time, but I feel like with cultural and societal conditioning, we're all our own brand of basket case. So I think some kind of pre-therapy is a prerequisite for pretty much every human being walking on the earth. Just with so much stimulus and social media and, people having commitment issues and all of the other saucy things that are happening in our everyday lives, we need somebody to sit with us and help us to center and get calm and get into a meditative headspace to welcome in love.
Wow. Brilliantly stated.
So, it seems like a lot of people are kind of they're looking for love. They're beginning to look for love during this pandemic. Would it be fair to say that we're in kind of many people are in a pre-love stage?
How kind and sweet and sensitive of you to say that. I would say that a lot of people are in a pre-love stage, but for those of the people who have been doing the work and have been doing my 5-step program, which I've been doing that one-on-one with clients, but that will be an e-course coming out next month. They are actually in a love state of mind right now. So not the pre-love, but ready, to actually fall in love. And next year, hopefully, I'll announce it here first, I'm going to be doing some matchmaking between clients. So, clients that have been through my courses and done well, aced all of their exams, and they are ready and looking for love, I give them a very detailed questionnaire. There's something like 523 questions on it. And then I will match them with other people who have gone through my courses. So it's kind of like the Harvard of dating apps, where we just get the best of the best of the best. And everybody is in a healthy, wonderful headspace to fall in love and be in a committed relationship and realize all of their connective dreams. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, it would be like a Match.com commercial, but made real.
Yes, except it would be monamatches.com.
Wow, that is just so selfless of you.
That is wild.
And you have a whole website dedicated to it. That's genius.
Yeah,
Oh, that's very kind. I'm just trying to do my part.
Mona Matches is very catchy.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle, they were Moonies, actually. Were married by matched by Reverend Moon. Are you familiar with the Moonies, Mona?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was such a trailblazer in this field. Absolutely atmospheric in everything that he did.
Yeah, and I find, even though the two of them had never met each other, never spoken a word to each other, they didn't even speak the same language. And he saw the two of them, and he said, "You two, you're married now." And they've been married ever since. They've had, I think, something around 16 children. And they are happier than any couple that I've ever seen. I don't know if it's because they don't understand what the other one's saying, or if it's the fact that they're in love, perhaps.
Wow.
That's the only way that I could describe it. But I think the act of having somebody else match you, because so often we're in our own heads. We can't pop out to see what's going on the outside, And I'm sure that's a very priceless service that you offer to your clients, where you have this bird's eye, and even more than a bird's eye, you've got an above bird's eye view. You're like
an eagle eye.
An eagle eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I completely agree with you. And that sounds like such an amazing match made in heaven. otherworldly. And 16 children?
Yeah.
My goodness. I mean, I guess they don't really have to speak the same language because they've got body language.
Oh, they do. They do.
That's a good one.
Sometimes it's a problem, but they do. Yeah, it's family reunions
It
are.
sounds like it. Oh my goodness. And what were their names again?
Yeah, that was Cheryl and Domingo.
Oh, Cheryl and Domingo, if you're listening, we just want to send you our sincerest congratulations on 16 children and many years of being happily married.
Wow, I'm sure they really appreciate that. That is
Absolutely.
very kind.
Well, you mentioned something very interesting, Karl, when you said that they could perhaps be at the stage of love, love, love. Now, in my world, that sounds like something that's almost so hard to find. It's really only something that you could find behind a paywall.
Oh,
And I think that's why Mona's doing what she's doing, and that's the value of really bringing more love and into the world. It's got to be done strategically, or else.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I mean, that is just music to my ears. And I feel like you're absolutely right. That level of love, 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 love is like trying to climb one of the Egyptian pyramids. It's really hard, but once you get to the top, the perspective is just spectacular.
It's like trying to climb Mount Kilimanjaro on your hands, but if you can make it up there,
Yeah, while doing a handstand. Yeah.
you'll see the whole world upside down.
Oh, and that's how you feel when you fall in love. Everything is just totally turned upside down.
yeah, and your arms are extremely sore. That's how I feel sometimes.
And not just from walking upside down. You know what I mean?
No, dude.
You've been doing the planks, I guess, working out.
Oh, well, I was thinking of something a little bit more fun than a plank.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we all have different ways of exercising, I guess. Oh, my goodness. Well,
Well, I
folks,
have a very specific form of exercise that I like to partake in every day.
oh, yeah. Me too. I like to skip rope. That's what I do. I skip rope. So, folks, we are live, 575-322-8733 here on Love Pandemic. It's a viral outbreak, and we are so excited to have the lovely Mona Jacobs. She's got so many websites. Pre-therapist. She is here to get you on the road to where you need to be. And you don't know how to get there? Of course you don't. There's no roadmap on how to ask to get to somewhere where you're trying to go. You have to ask somebody who can help you get to that place, get on that road.
Yeah.
So, folks, the lines are now open. 575-322-8733. If you have a question for Mona, give us a call. She can let you know if you need therapy.
Yeah.
And she can also talk to you about some of your options in the immediate term, and maybe even get you turned around immediately. But the big thing that she's really added is the pre-therapist. Really, really, really putting a person in place that should be there so that you know whether or not you need therapy, and probably you do, because it sounds like, most people do.
Probably do.
They do. Yeah, we all do. Like she said earlier, the social conditioning and the strain and conformity and pressure of society.
And
It's enough.
Thank you.
It's enough.
Thank you.
We have to let go of that and find love.
And if anybody has any doubt whatsoever about my accolades, I do just want to say in a very humble brag way, I do have my doctorate from University of Phoenix Online in pre-therapy. So I have spent many, many years studying this art of helping you decide whether you need therapy or not.
Yeah, it's such a valuable resource, and it's something that I'm sure takes quite a bit of time. Can you talk to us a little bit about what
And
it was
stamina.
Like? Oh, and stamina. Yes, lots of stamina. You've got to go for a long time, and you're defining it. You were defining it yourself. You actually created your own major. Can you talk to us a little bit about how?
I'm sorry. What did you say just there? I actually created my own what?
Your major at Phoenix Online. You had
Absolutely.
to create your own major in order to graduate with the major that you picked. And can you just talk a little bit about that process?
Absolutely. So I knew that I wanted to go to the University of Phoenix because I wanted to go to school online, and I knew that I would be getting the best education possible that way.
So ahead of their time.
Yes, well, thank you. And when I was looking at my options for a major, I realized that there was no kind of pre-therapist degree, but there was such a hole in the market for people wondering whether or not they needed therapy. And so I thought, here I am. I don't want to be a traditional life coach. I don't want to be a traditional therapist. So, where can I bridge the gap and really help people understand whether or not they need therapy? And so I talked to one of my advisors, and she said that at this university, it is possible to create your own major if you get the signature of a congressman, the vice president, and a veterinarian.
Wow.
And so I got those signatures, and I was well on my way, and I even helped create the curriculum. So if anybody does want to do a pre-therapy major with specializing in love connections, then you can definitely follow in my footsteps and go to the University of Phoenix and become a pre-therapist.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable. The vice president. That sounds harder than the degree itself.
No, it really wasn't that hard. I just had to send him a few scandalous pictures.
Oh, well, Mr. Pence, you dirty boy.
He would deny it, but
Well,
Yeah, when I went to online school as well, and I was trying to start my own major, but it was the darndest thing to get the veterinarian signature. The VP, he gets these requests sometimes, so it's kind of a Congress people too. It's a normalized thing, but the veterinarian, they're hard to come by. They're hard to pin down, and sometimes you have to pay them off a little bit of money to agree.
I could not agree more, Carl. The veterinarian signature was by far the hardest. And interestingly enough, they asked me the most questions, and I found that it was the most frustrating process.
Yeah.
But, when you are dedicated to your craft and you know that at the end of the day, you are going to be helping people find love and figure out whether or not they need therapy, then you just have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that you can relate to my struggle there. The veterinarians are certainly the hardest to come by.
They're like, what are you doing here? Why do you need my signature? A major skateboarding? I don't understand. What is the University of Phoenix? So many questions. So many. I'm like, listen, just sign the darn paper. I'm trying to get my major here. I'm trying to get my degree so I can move on to bigger and better things. I just got out of prison. I'm trying to get a job, and these guys, they don't really care about you because they care about animals, and that's the hardest thing to get over. I don't want to sound like I'm bitter or anything, but I am, and I didn't get that signature, but I'm glad that
you never got the signature.
I never did. So
oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So you weren't able to major in skateboarding then?
no, I got a major in history with a minor in skateboard studies.
Oh, okay.
And
So you were close, but
a minor
not
is
quite
worthless.
there.
you're still a gem in my eye now.
Yeah, nobody tells you a minor doesn't
I know
count for anything.
I know you didn't get what you wanted, but I tell you what, it doesn't make you any less whole. You're still a beautiful, glowing man in my eyes,
Liam,
shining bright from across the room.
you make me feel radiant.
I want to get inside of the 6 feet. I feel heat coming off of you
I can feel it too.
all the way over here.
I mean, I can feel it, and I am halfway across the country.
Well, that's right.
Wow.
All the way out in Chicago. What a windy city. Lots of love blowing around there in the windy city.
Definitely. Lots of love happening under down jackets.
Getting a little frisky in the bar, it's sometimes nice to just bring your lover close, tickle her armpit a little bit.
Play a little footsie under 3 pairs of socks.
That's right. And if they look at you funny, you can just say it was an accident, because it's hard to feel through 3 layers of socks.
And Liam, I've heard you've had a few accidents with the ladies here recently. And do you want to touch on that, or maybe talk about some of your experiences with love and texting?
Well, love is something that's very hard to express in word, and more so in deed. And I've actually been in more trouble for some of the deeds. Honestly, I'm a bit of a romantic. It's true, I love to woo. I love to woo my partner. And,
okay.
And I like to play.
Can you tell me a little bit about this wooing process?
Well, wooing involves sort of a little game between you and your object of affection. You wanna sort of tap and get their attention, but not too much. You don't want to be like, WDWYD ? Or how are you? Or something. That is so
too
boring.
Too forward. So
It's
a little
just so
love
boring.
tap then.
A little love tap, yeah, maybe a little fotito, if you will. Something that won't get lost in the DMs, if you know what I mean. And then,
okay. Can you describe this photo process a little bit?
Well, I could probably.
What kind of photos are you sending?
Well, I have a few that are in my Rolodex. A couple I took on a beach, a very special kind of beach in Italy.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful day that day. It was very shiny, very shiny day. And I've got a couple of other ones where, I've been asked to model.
Really?
I've done.
So what color are you on the wheel?
Green.
Prune. That is a new color.
Green, yes, very, very green.
Wow.
Yeah, it's freakish.
That is wild. Yeah. And I've
Wait, did you say green or prune?
I said green.
Oh, I thought you...
No, you were thinking about the beach photo, which I do want to come back to. Speaking of prunes, I've seen a couple of those photos of the all men, mainly old men too, and then it's like going to a bar with like your friend who's a little bit less attractive and irritable and drunk, and then you look like this bright shining star next to them, and Liam looks like, next to all these old, haggardly, naked, saggy men. And Liam is
it's really
like a stone cut
like a
Adonis.
trophy.
Yeah.
That's right.
A stallion Greek trophy.
That's right.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's all about the background. You got to choose the right background. And
You
sometimes what
do.
I'll do is I'll take my phone and I'll squeeze a little bit of skinny hair fat together on my elbow, and I'll take my phone and I'll get really close to that, and I'll just take a little snappy of that, and it looks like a very ornery, naughty place. A very warm.
And do you find the
tempting
women
jungle.
respond well to that?
Well, they like to play their own games as well, and which is just part of the game.
Okay.
So I might send something like that, and they might say, something, just charming and playful, something like, "Leave me alone, you creep," or something like, "I'm going to call the cops this time," or "I told you I had a boyfriend already." But that's just a little bit of resistance, and just a way to prove that the game is still on. Because if it wasn't on, then there wouldn't be any response.
Okay, next clarifying question. What kind of women are you going after from a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the hottest, 1 being the least hot. Are you shooting mid-level, high-level? Give me a little rundown here.
Well, I absolutely would deserve the absolute best, but at the same time, I'm a tender lover, and I have a lot of appreciation for many types of lover. I've taken many different styles of body shape and intellectuality and and smoothness of skin and foot size. Really, the feet are the most important thing to me.
Interesting. And do you find when you send women these photos from your Rolodex that they respond in photos, or are you getting mostly messages of, I already have a boyfriend, I told you to stop, I'm going to call the police, I'm blocking you, I'm going to tell Instagram and report you?
Oh, wow. How did you know about the Instagram one?
I just had a feeling, that's part of my job as a pre-therapist, is to
Wow. So intuitive.
pre-know what my client is
Like
going to
a
say.
premonition.
Yeah, you did. You had a premonition. You pre-knew exactly about my condition. Wow, that's just brilliant. Yeah, I've gotten a few gifts as well, GIFs. I'm not sure how they're, a few of those that were just seemingly mean-spirited. But again, it's really hard to know when someone sends you a text, the intent behind it. It's
Truly, truly. But are you getting any text messages or DMs back with photos of the like? Meaning like if you send a photo of a certain body part, do women ever respond with a photo of that body part on them?
I've gotten a
Because
few.
I ask that because that shows a level of interest on their part. And if they're not responding in the like, then maybe you should stop.
Well,
What would be the polite way of saying this? Harassing the women.
the women are very interested. I see why you might misconstrue that, but I just play a little bit different of a game with the people that I sort of get involved with, and it's well known. We know what's on the table. I've gotten a lot of body part pictures back, actually, mostly of fingers.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well,
Hands and
I guess
fingers.
that can be read in several ways, right? I mean,
Sign language.
we write with our hands, we eat with our hands, we cook with our hands, we play sports with our hands, we fondle with our hands. So maybe there is some kind of connection that goes with a picture of a hand.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. And especially in that
it's
formation.
You've shown me some of these texts, and a lot of them are just the middle finger.
Well, yeah, that's what I was referring to with the fingers.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, well, you didn't clarify that part now,
I thought
Liam.
I thought that was implied.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think I need pre-therapy? I'm starting to feel a little bit self-conscious here, Mona.
Mona, I just don't understand. Liam is just such a charming guy, and I don't understand why women don't treat him right over text message or Instagram or Facebook or Craigslist or VRBO. I don't understand why they give him such a negative response. Can't they see this beautiful man through the words?
Karl, I do understand where you're coming from, but the millennial generation has completely changed the way that we look at love and communicate about love. And so I'm just wondering if some of Liam's tactics could be, shall we say, modernized. Like with VRBO, Liam, I'm curious, how do you reach out to a potential mate?
Well, that was an anomaly, and that was a very special experience that happened. I just fell in love with the place we rented for the weekend, and I saw the photo profile of the owner, I thought after being in that space, we sort of were vibing on the same level.
Love is energy. You don't necessarily have
Exactly.
to see someone as we all witnessed on Netflix's Love is Blind.
That's right.
Are you guys familiar with that show?
I've heard of it, but I've never actually watched any of it.
Well, people fell in love there was a wall between them. And after, I don't know, episode 2 or 3, people started proposing to one another, even though they had never locked eyes or seen anything of the other's physical appearance. So I do get that. Love is an energy. And so if you walk into somebody's space and you feel a connection, then you should follow that connection and lean into it. Ask some questions about it. Look and see what kind of books they're reading. I mean, what kind of tea do they drink? Do they have alcohol in that cabinet? What kind of panties do they wear? You can tell a lot about somebody with the kind of space that they have.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the
like a
bookshelf.
detective.
Yeah, like a detective.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Before my pre-therapy days, I used to love to go into my lover's house or, a person that I had a crush on and break in a little bit, see if there were any open windows, and walk around, touch their sofa, see if there was any dust on it because ew. And then I would walk into the dining room, see if they had a dining table. Always was looking for a yoga mat because, well,
Flexibility.
I like to do all kinds of things on the yoga mat. And then I would go straight for the refrigerator because I need to know what kind of food my lovers are consuming. I need to know that they are going to be strong and full of energy, if you know what I mean.
Vitality. Yes. Well, yeah.
Yeah, vitality.
I think that love is blind thing is an interesting concept. A lot of times, sometimes if you're not happy with your mate, the best thing to do is just close your eyes, and just listen to what they have to say and maybe, envision them, dressed up in a funny way or a sexy way or a silly way or as Catherine Zeta-Jones or as, Vanna White.
Liam, I think after this live session is over, you and I should have a little talk and maybe explore some of the options that I could make available to you.
Well, I would absolutely love that, and I think I know what you mean.
Do you?
I think so. Yes. So playful. I love it. I just love the energy. Now, folks, we are live. 575-322-8733. We've got about 10 minutes or so left with the wonderful Mona Jacobs. So playful, so funny, really messing with me, trying to make me feel a little bit insecure. But I know what you're doing. It's sweet, it's fun, and that's how I'd like to play.
Oh, well, I do not mean to make you feel insecure in any way. Sometimes we have to break down in order to build back up. And I just, this whole love is blind and scenario, I want to run with that and just say, Liam, I see you as a Greek Adonis. I see you as somebody who is strong and independent, but also really intertwined with his mate. And I think it's just a matter of finding you that appropriate, age appropriate, economic appropriate, location appropriate person.
Yeah.
And then entangling and intertwining and getting as involved in their life as possible. Is that what you're...
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Locating the pre-lover, if you will.
Yes. Moving from pre-lover to pre-lover. And let's talk about that.
You're just climbing that ladder bit by bit.
Yeah,
every moment, Liam.
That's right. And I'm proud to be doing it. I appreciate your pre-therapy advice. Can we talk a little bit about what this is going to look like going forward? If I'm in the pre stages, what is the pre-stage going to look like? And then we can go on from there.
I find that the pre-stage is probably the most exciting. On the outside, it looks like it's the most boring part, but it's actually where the soil is fertilized. It involves a lot of warm baths, bath salts, hot tea, journaling, some light fondling, and some soft kisses. And essentially, the pre-love area is where you are discovering the bounty of love that you hold within yourself and the nether regions of your body. And I won't go into all of the anatomy pieces, but it's such an important time because it's where you discover how to pleasure yourself so that you can then pleasure your lover.
And this is the pre-therapy, or this is the pre-love?
This is the pre-love stage.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misheard, and I thought that was the pre-therapy. And I was like, wow, why is nobody signing up for this thing? Like, right now. Jeez Louise. Okay,
Well,
pre-love.
thank you. I mean,
That was
we
Dum
definitely go
Dum
into great
Carl.
detail on the pre-love
Wow.
stage in my course, Pre-Love, that will be coming out in August of this year. And there are some videos and light demonstrations, but again, it's just absolutely vital that we understand how to create pleasure within our own bodies before we can pleasure others. And we also talk about vocalizations. We try out all kinds of different vocal exercises, and sometimes we emulate dolphins, sometimes we emulate whales, sometimes monkeys, but we really try and connect with that animalistic nature that each and every one of us has. So again, circling back, we can figure out how to further connect with our potential lover. It's so important that we are uninhibited in every way once we go from pre-love to the love stage, which is, of course, where we're all trying to get.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
Does that make sense?
yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think you're right. I think that is right where I am now at this pre-love stage, really, because you can't help someone else until you're able to help yourself. And that's very important. People forget that in love.
It's so true, and it's really important that you train well and make sure that you have the stamina required. And so a lot of exercise, plyometrics, I talk about all of this stuff in detail in my course, and we do lots of different daily exercises and challenges together to make sure that we are physically capable of the utmost amount of pleasure for ourselves and others.
We want to really be in the best shape we can to express
Absolutely.
our love. It's really
isn't that so beautiful? I feel like that could be a song.
Just exploding all over your partner with love.
With love.
Like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, that's something that I've been struggling with a little bit myself, is trying to be in the best shape, I guess, to be in love, to have that explosive love. My heart has been it has been overworked, if you will, and I'm worried that my heart is going to explode. And I would, if of all places to die, I guess the bed would be the best, but I would hate to die on Sheila. That would be like my old VW dying on me in the middle of the desert. That's the worst.
And imagine her.
That part would be difficult, but I do have to say, I feel like dying in bed would be my absolute dream. It's actually on my bucket list.
Is the last item on your bucket list, yeah. And here we are, right on the same page. Yeah. You and me, buddy. You and
pleasure
me.
Till the end. That's my tagline.
You have the little death, and then you have the big death.
That's right. It's following concurrently, and that is the dream. Yeah. That's the way to get out of this world and into the next one. Just explode right into that like a ball of love energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree.
Well, folks, we are live 575-322-8733 just for a couple of more minutes. So if you do have a question for Mona Jacobs, pre-therapist, just absolutely creating so many different courses, so many digital online trainings about pre-therapy. She can guide you and let you know if you need more therapy, and she can also help you out of a pinch yourself. So feel free to pick up the phone, give us a call here. We just got a couple minutes left, and we really appreciate having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on, Mona.
Oh, it is absolutely my pleasure. I have been tuning in to your show, Liam, and listening to you, Karl, since day one, since I first heard about this show. And I just have to commend you too, the people that you are helping to connect and find reciprocal, dynamic, innovative,
Yeah.
engaging love is just so inspiring and what I am all about. So I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity to come and be on your show.
Well, it's really it's our honor.
It really is.
We
You're doing
really appreciate it.
so very much out there with your matchmaking service app and all your different e-courses. It's just it's so much work. You're pouring your soul into it.
Oh, well, thank you. And Karl, I know you are married, but if you ever change your mind or you need a little help, and Liam, I would be happy to give you both an insider's discount.
I would.
And for anybody that's listening that does want to take the course, the discount code is MOAN, MOAN.
Wow. Now, Mona, I've got a question for you because pre-therapy is relatively a new concept for me, and I'm sure for a lot of our listeners. And I wonder, is there a post-therapy? Something that comes after therapy?
That is such an important question. And just like people coming back from a combat zone where they have some kind of post I forget exactly what the military term is, but essentially they come back and they're questioned and there's a health analysis. There is such a thing as post therapy. I myself do not specialize in it, but I highly recommend it. You want to make sure that all the therapy that you invested your hard-earned dollars in has taken root in your psyche, and your brain has created those new neural pathways, and the neuroplasticity is in effect. And I would say that post-therapy is not quite as, but almost as important as pre-therapy.
Wow. No, that's like the finishing of it all. So if someone needed to know whether they needed post-therapy, could you as a pre-therapist refer them to a therapist who could then direct them to a post-therapist that could help them get to where they need to go and really polish off that alchemy?
Absolutely. There is a gentleman, I think he's in New York City. He's in New York City or Miami. Maybe he splits time, but his name is Bob Law. And he is a fantastic, highly recommended post-therapist.
Wow. That's great. Now, Mona, you dropped our listeners a little discount code, MOAN. Now, just for how much does a therapy session run? I know that you're very highly esteemed and very well done for yourself. Like, what would a average listener expect to pay to get a pre-therapy session with you?
Absolutely, it is $69.69.
Oh, wow.
And I like to keep my prices very affordable. It's less than a traditional therapy session, but not so cheap that people are taking advantage.
Right.
And then my e-courses vary in price just depending on the course. Sometimes some of the courses are much more detailed than others, but course prices range from $29.99 to $2,999. So a pretty wide range there.
Wow. Well, great. That seems very affordable and, dare I say, seductive price point there.
Well, I try to do all the seduction I can because really we need to be seducing ourselves on a daily basis. If we aren't our own best lovers, then how on earth could we show up and be the best lovers for others?
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
I'm sure your
So
wife,
true.
what is her name? Sheila would agree.
Yeah, she would agree. And many a times I find her, I walk in on her practicing, warming up, maybe doing a little bit of post-love sometimes. And I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not embarrassed to share it because she knows herself better than I. She's traveled those caverns more than this man has, I tell you what.
I mean, most women have.
Yeah.
Thank God. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, folks. So stick around for a quick word from our sponsors. Mona Jacobs, ladies and gentlemen, pre-therapist. She has been wonderful. Thank you again, Mona.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Liam, Karl, you guys are just the best.
Oh, thank you, Mona. Yeah, this was quite a treat.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That is a wrap for this episode this week on Love Pandemic. It's a viral outbreak of love. Call the hotline next time, folks. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Boner Pants.
This episode brought to you by Boner Pants.
Boner Pants.
Grow, brother, grow.
Yeah.
Y'all tired of tucking and folding and jamming your man parts into tight, airy, hot, itchy, scratchy spaces? Want a silky, smooth compartment that they can stretch out in? It's like a double-decker for your Becker Boner Pants.
Check it out, flyingsquidcomedy.com/boner. Again, that's flyingsquidcomedy.com/boner. Use the promo code